Alrighty. Um, make sure everything's working good on my end here.
All right, just waiting on Lane to get back.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Great. We can run
Make
this.
sure everything's working good on my end here.
All right, just waiting on.
Alright. I think we're good to go.
Gucci.
Let me,
You doing a Facebook stream?
Yeah. Let me, Let me not be playing Minecraft, while I'm doing the stream.
And here's some.
Yeah. Just listen to me fail miserably as I try to do blood magic and growing silicone and doing all of this stuff to make computer chips so we can have a giant storage disk.
All about fucking witchcraft.
Dude, that mod for
Actually.
Hmm?
So. Yeah, so like witchcraft and stuff, and like the Wiccans and all that. Somebody the other day they had mentioned, like, oh, okay, she's older, I get that, but she had mentioned that there's this girl that she knows who's big into witchcraft, and I said, you mean is she Wicca? Does she believe in like Wicca? I was like, it's kind of funny because a lot of people just think witchcraft is like a general term. But
yeah.
yeah, I was like, from what you're explaining, it sounds like she's a Wiccan. I was like,
Mhm.
Wiccans they actually believe in more about nature and the spiritual world and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Not really black arts and stuff. It's a big there's a big difference. In fact, it's you know one of the theories of the people from Salem were that they were Wiccans, or that there was one person who practiced Wicca, and it turned into he said she said is what it was.
Yeah, there's a obviously I kind of know a little bit more about it because mom mom dabbles in witchcraft, but I believe
My mom
she's also Wiccan at the same
Yeah,
time.
my mom's a Christian, but she loves the Wiccan stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. She loves that stuff. That's why a lot of the stuff she has crystals because she
Mhm.
believes that they do different things. You have to leave them out in the light to charge them and all kinds of stuff.
I'm
Um
back.
All right, man, we're about to go live. Ready? Three, two, one. Yeah, yeah. So Cap's not with us, and Adam is not coming so far.
yeah, well he's got a little bit of a he said his throat's been bothering him a little bit the past couple of days, so he doesn't want
Ah, he been overusing that throat. I
to
see.
apparently.
What a man.
um
Yeah. So we'll wait for Cap to grab up on that cult news because there's a twist to the story.
I'm hoping he'll
And
pop in like halfway through the podcast.
yeah, if he hops in, I'm definitely gonna. The first thing I'm gonna do is jump all over him and tell him to break down the whole story because I know that he sent us a couple of updates in the chat talking about he actually spoke with her, and I want to know all the juicy details, like how she knew his name. Um, so let's first thing I want to talk about right now, the blue box death threats that have been happening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and their history of scamming and pretty much just abandoning games. And if they ever do drop a game, it's fucking garbage.
I mean,
Oh my god.
it's worse than garbage. It straight, as Ling would say, doo doo caca.
Oh, it's awful. It's terrible. But now they're getting death threats and possibly physical as well. According to what some of these articles that we were looking at were saying, it's pretty fucking wild. And because I'm not going to call it justice because realistically, I don't think anybody needs to get their life threatened. And it's all because of what? What was it? It was because of rumors that this was a Silent Hill continuation for their trailer.
It wasn't necessarily rumors that it was a Silent Hill continuation, but they thought it was or people thought that, with it being as vague as it is and being just, it seems like this isn't like a real thing. It was what do they call it? A Kojima
Yeah,
conspiracy or something like
that's
that, where
yeah, yeah. Because he doesn't work with like sometimes he'll work with really small companies or something.
occasionally, but it's almost like every time he releases something, there's always something cryptic to it, and so it's a conspiracy theory, is what it is, but
Mm-hmm.
it's what am I trying to get to here? It's trying to justify like why a game just looks that bad and justifying actions of a company. Well, not even justifying actions of a company, but saying like, oh, this could be this thing here.
Yeah, but to go to the length of death threats is just freaking wild.
I mean, who hasn't had a death threat in their life before? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you're not living until that happens to you.
Exactly. Um,
Yeah.
but it is a crock of shit. Um, I mean, we all kind of looked into it a little bit, and it it just I don't even know how to describe it. It's empty. It's hollow. It just
It's mind-numbingly stupid, and just it blows my mind to think about all the money that Blue Box has just duped people from. Because they do all that crowdfunding and stuff, and then
yeah.
they're like, "Well, yeah, well, it turns out we can't release the game, but we're gonna use your money to help our new venture, which is this game we're working on now."
I need to take an interruption for a commercial here. I am drinking my guacamole Gamer Fart 9000. Um, and just it is very thirst quenching, and it tastes good. Gamer Sups, if you want to toss us a sponsorship, I'll gladly approve.
Hey man, if they do that, I'm gonna go buy each one of those waifu cups.
Fuck yeah. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Um, it's like I said, I don't even know how to describe it because there's just nothing there. It just like in any of the trailers, it's just this camera panning through like a empty ass forest with just nothingness. There's trees and grass and leaves. I
Yeah.
don't really know what to say about that, but like you said, they are duping the shit out of people by crowdfunding their stuff, and they're like, oh, the game's not ready yet, or we that project failed, we're moving on to another project, or it
Now,
just don't seem
when did
right.
that announcement come? If I remember correctly, that announcement for this new game dropped at like a big expo or convention or something, right? They actually did it in public. They announced this shit in public, didn't they? Or
I,
maybe one of
I,
y'all can correct me on that.
Good question, because I don't even know.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they announced it in public, which just makes it even more wild because it's like they're not even hiding. And they've done this before. I think they go public with a lot of this stuff. It's not like they just throw it up on a website or something. They do this like at expos, and nobody calls them out on their bullshit. And if they do, they're like, well, shit happens. Sorry, we can't finish what we say we're gonna do. But
It kind of harps on the topic we talked about last time of like where the blame lies when it comes to certain decisions within a gaming sphere, and that
oh,
100% is just that's business side.
yeah, that's 100% management. Jesus Christ. I think the management probably the same people who even made the images. I'm pretty sure they're the same people who make the game. They might just have a group of 10 people. I mean, that's all they need to make a couple, still clips. Um, yeah, and so this week has been kind of wild with the whole Alec Baldwin thing too. Lane,
Oh,
yeah, I know. Me and Lane talked about that for a little bit. You said something I didn't know, but what was it about the guy handing a gun off to like an 11-year-old or something?
Yeah, the armorer, something Gutierrez Reed. I don't remember what I think it was Hannah. I don't remember, but she was the armorer. And apparently, on a prior movie set, the movie prior to the one Rust that she was working on, I don't know if she still is or not. She
Yeah,
apparently handed an unchecked gun to an 11-year-old.
big no no. Now, so for anybody who doesn't know, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to call cold as well whenever they hand off the gun, and what that signifies to the cast and crew is that the armorer checked the gun, the props master checked the gun, it's clear, and it's a cold gun. So this also apparently happened on set of Rust. That apparently cold was called, but it was never checked, and this had happened twice before on set, on the same set.
There were two accidental discharges of the firearm on the set that caused a couple of the workers to quit.
Yeah. So, I was watching some news, reading up about this, and actually, Jeremy at the quartering made a very funny point. He said, well, I'm not gonna say funny, this very sad thing, but it's
Yeah.
very good. And I'm gonna say it's what if the work conditions that they had on set apparently were just abysmal. They were terrible. People were having to drive. People were sleeping in their cars because they were so tired, and the drive was so long and tedious. They didn't want to have to do that drive. They just slept in their cars and then woke up the next day and then did it all over again. Apparently, it was just awful. It was terrible. And on top of all this, and a bunch of the hoopla between cast and crew, do you think maybe somebody might have been disgruntled and actually put a live round in there? Because that was a live round, it turns out. That was an actual live round, which they're not supposed to be on set. How the hell did a live round get there? Were they, using it when they weren't supposed to like shoot out in the desert or something? What was it? I don't know. But that was a live round.
I find it very doubtful that that was the case, that somebody was so disgruntled they wanted somebody else to be murdered, because intense filmography is a thing when it comes to these movies. I mean, you look at certain method actors, you look at certain directors, like what was it? I actually read an article about this the other day for one of my favorite movies, Fury. They actually had all of the actors for Fury go through a week of essentially boot camp, and like the director himself was quoted like, "I'm a ruthless director, but for a good reason." And you look at the movie and my results, and they show that my ruthlessness pays off. So extraneous activity when it comes to making films is not a foreign thing. I don't know as far as it goes for having like certain cast or certain crew like sleep in their own cars rather than having to make the drive. But you got to think as well, to make the kind of movie that they're making, which is like like a Western movie. You've got some pretty secluded locations that you've got to get to, and it would just be easier just to do that than it would be to just drive to your house or drive to a motel or something. It does seem it's for convenience sake.
Yeah, they could have done a lot of stuff as far as conditions and everything go. And for the live round thing, I think the whole purpose wasn't to, let's say someone did that because they were disgruntled. I'm pretty sure they didn't have the mindset that they were going to kill somebody. I mean, maybe they did. But if this was the case, which I'm not saying it was, if it was, then I would see it more like this would shake people up. This would, cause some, a little bit of revenge, shake some people, scare some people. And then again, there's other rumors out there. Like, this story is getting so weird because I've also heard, that apparently he was like ranting or some shit and on a big speech and was waving the gun around.
I've also heard that.
And so I'm like, ooh, I was like, if that's the case, then, maybe he was crying for a whole different reason there. Maybe it was out of guilt. I mean, sure, I'm sure he felt guilty, but a different kind of guilt,
So
like
from what I heard, now this is just one article out of many. So this is definitely, it could be a rumor, it could just be somebody's interpretation of what happened. He was waving the gun around while on a rant about Trump.
Yep, that's what I heard. Which article did you read?
Let me go find it real quick.
Yeah, I read the same thing, that he was doing a Trump rant.
It's
on
like
fucking
one out of a bunch of articles. Let's see if I can find it here. That's not it. If I can't find it here in a minute, then I just won't worry about it, because it was one out of many, so it definitely could just be some person's take on what they think happened.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weirdness coming out from over there with everything going on, and I mean, it's under investigation, so I give it a little bit of time, and we'll see what the dust blows our way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So that's been like the real hot topic that's been blowing up the news and everything. But then I noticed today, um, that the whole Destiny 2 thing, some people are irritated, and I think it was either IGN or Game Informer. I think it was IGN. They had an article about the new dungeon, and we talked about this for a second. But I really just want both y'all's opinion. Lane, if you can hit me with what you think about this whole new paid dungeon, but you have to get the deluxe edition or whatever for the game. What's your take on all this bullshit?
I mean, as we said, or the point I made before we started, I feel like the ratio of money to the content that you get is a bit off when you compare it to other games. I feel like other games do it a lot better. You get more content for the amount of money that you spend, or they do the process better, but also that they're doing this because they know that Destiny 2 has been out for a very, very extended period of time. If they do this, they know that the people that are still playing are the ones that are dedicated to the game, and they're more than likely going to be willing to pay that money because they are, in a sense, just kind of blinded by the fact that Destiny 2 is a really good game. I played it for such a long time. I really like it. All the content that comes out is great. They're going to be like, oh, what is, like, this amount of money, or like $80 for the deluxe edition? What is that when you think of how many hours of entertainment it has given them in the past and currently,
Yeah. Zach, I know you had like a completely different opinion. You and I are both pretty, you're a bigger fan, I think, than I am, but I enjoyed Destiny personally. But I know your take was, the opposite of what me and Lane kind of shared here.
I don't think it's a problem. Like, I understand where Lane comes from, and I made the comparison between it being like when it comes to free-to-play games and how they monetize their games outside of buying the base game, because Destiny is free-to-play right now, and obviously if you want more content, they're going to have to make money from somewhere. So they've been making money from season passes. Season passes are like $10, and they go for like 100 or some odd days, and you get a shitload of content with that. Maybe once every expansion you get a dungeon. But what they've recently done is they've changed the formula a bit to where they're going to be releasing a new dungeon every 3 months. So you're essentially multiplying your output fivefold when it comes to the content in terms of the dungeons, at least. So of course they're going to want to expect a little bit more bang for their buck. Whereas you could just lump all of the extra money that you would get from the purchase of the expansion and your season passes into the one dungeon per expansion. Now you're getting 5 dungeons per expansion roundabout, and where is the extra money coming from to pay the people who work on it? So, a point you had made earlier, Lane, was that you feel that other games do the balance of monetization to content better. And you had brought up WoW as an example where you pay a lump sum and you don't have to pay extra for dungeons. To me, it falls kind of in the same bracket, because it's not one dungeon that you would be getting, it's 5 dungeons that you would be getting with the expansion if you paid for the deluxe edition. With the standard edition, obviously you don't get the season pass. You have to buy the seasons individually, which are, like I said, $10 on their own, so it still comes out to you paying $80 anyways with the season pass. And then on top of that, you can buy the dungeons standalone, which is going to go over $80. So in all actuality, what Bungie is trying to do is they're trying to get a increased immediate revenue rather than a long burn revenue, which I think is better in the long run. Why would you pay, like, let's say each dungeon is $5, so it comes out to being an additional $25 by the end of the expansion. You're paying $105 over the entirety of the expansion, essentially, when you could pay $80 up front and get everything. So you end up saving money. It's just a little bit of a larger investment up front, rather than it being over an extended period of time.
See, and I can see both angles because you're saying that you're talking about paying that, but Lane's getting at the fact that for what content you're getting, it should be less money, or maybe more content for that amount. And so I can see both y'all's angles when y'all come from there. And me personally, I kind of actually side with Lane. I don't I don't quite agree because I've seen other company or other games, be more loving to their customers, clientele, to the gamers, and come out on top. And I don't see why Bungie can't, since they've cut their strings, so they're their free entity to make the of themselves whatever they will. Again, they also can do whatever they want, and I'm totally down for that. Let them do whatever they want, and we'll see what happens. Maybe it turns out it's all fine. I think because it could be sold as its own entity. Um, it all really depends. I think, man. Like how much are they going to sell it for? Is it going to be overpriced, or is it going to be, like decent? Is it going to be like, okay, yeah, I'll spend that for that, but I won't spend $40.
Well, I seriously doubt they're going to charge $40 for a single dungeon or the entirety of the dungeons. And I also want to harp on something that I mentioned earlier is you look at, going off of what you said where they cut their strings. When they cut their strings, that's when the game became free. That's when Destiny became free. When it was under Activision, you had to buy the game and then buy all the expansions and then buy the season passes. That's not the way it works anymore. They made the game free. You buy the expansions whenever they come out if you want to, and then you buy the season passes if you want to. You can still get a lot of content without any of it. Now, what I meant by it's a free game, they have to find a way to monetize it. They're not just monetizing it through the expansions and through the dungeons now. They've got a cosmetic store in it. And that's how a lot of free games make their money now. You look at Call of Duty Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone is a free game that monetizes their game through their cosmetic store. Destiny is now doing it too. You mentioned Warframe when we were talking about this before. Warframe has a cosmetic store in it, and so you can monetize it through doing your cosmetic store. They're just finding another way to monetize it for the amount of work that's being put into it, which is rightfully so.
One of my main questions is, well, there's really kind of a loaded question in the sense that why did they feel the need to make the game free if they knew they were going to keep coming out with content that they would need funding for, and not just keep it as a paid game, but also add the cosmetic store as well if they're charging this much for it because it's apparently a money thing. They don't have enough money for it. They're trying to get more money out of it. Then why did you make the game free? You didn't have the foresight, which, anybody could really have guessed.
Well, it's just the evolution of how games work now. I say games. A lot of big multiplayer games like that work. Like I said, going back to the example of Warframe. Warframe is a free game. They just monetize it through their cosmetic store, and as well, being realistic, Warframe is pay to win right now. It has been for a while. But the same thing with Fortnite, and the reason why Fortnite doesn't introduce anything more outside of cosmetic store and paying for a season pass is because their player base is so much bigger than Destiny 2. Destiny 2 has a relatively small but loyal player base.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's still I see what you're saying, and I think they did have the foresight to see that they needed a way to monetize their content. They just don't have the player base to support it as it is. Which
I can tell you in their heyday, man, they could have rolled out anything, and it would have been profitable. But I said earlier, I think that depending on the viability, which of course any game's going to drop off at some point, and they have to think like that. But again, they were thinking as a company, and that's going to happen because they have to make money. I get it, I totally do, and I'm not going to hate on them for playing the game because that's how it is. Companies work like companies work.
I think it goes back to just the statement in my head that if you're going to keep working on the game, and the game initially was to be bought baseline, and you have plans to continue working on the game at an accelerated rate to please the people that are demanding content quickly, why not keep it a paid game? Which, by the way, any game that is not planning on keeping content released I mean, yeah, sure, make the game free and keep a cosmetic store. But if it's Destiny 2, keep it a paid game because that's just extra revenue and less of a reason for you to complain about needing funding for the upcoming releases and expansions. And just add a cosmetic store on top of that because it's extra money. You need it apparently, but you made the game free for no real reason. You're just losing money at that point.
I harped on that earlier. They made it a free game because the decision to make it a paid game was Activision's decision. That was not Bungie's decision. So when Bungie cut their strings from Activision, Bungie wanted to go their own way, and they're like, we're going to make this game free so it is more accessible to everybody else. With the option, because all of this stuff is optional, by the way, it's an option that you can do to have access to more content. So the big thing about this is that's the big topic that I think I should harp on more, is it's optional. This is not required of you to do this. Yes, you can have access and chances to get really good gear, materials, all this kind of stuff, but it is optional. You are not required
really?
in the Yes, it is absolutely optional.
No, I mean, is it really optional if you enjoy playing the game and you're like any normal person that gets tired of doing the same thing for years?
Yes, it is completely optional.
Why would it be optional if you enjoy playing the game and its content? You're forced to buy it if you want new content. Otherwise, you're grinding the same shit from the base game. And unless you're like a psychopath or you enjoy doing daily quests in World of Warcraft, you're not gonna like.
That's what Destiny is. Like the dungeon, at least in this context, the dungeons are absolutely optional. There is plenty of content without the dungeons. The dungeons do play a minor part in the overall content that is released. That is why I'm saying it's not a big deal. It really shouldn't be a big deal, because while yes, you can get good weapons and materials out of it, there are other ways to get other good weapons and other materials without having to do these dungeons. The dungeons are completely optional. And you get plenty of new content with the expansions and the season pass.
So on the topics of games, guys, Fallout 76 apparently is still doing their marketing campaigns. And yeah, beautiful, isn't it? So they have a Halloween event thing right now, right? They're doing this Fallout 76 Halloween update, and they spooky scorched locations and all that crap. And it's also free up until October 25th. How long?
You mean tomorrow?
Yeah, how are they? How long do you think they're gonna keep kicking this horse?
I don't know, because it was born dead.
It really was.
Yeah.
I watched
with one eye, 3 legs, fucking no internal organs. It was a husk.
Lane told me to watch the Internet Historian video on it, and I didn't realize how bad it was on release.
Yeah, I watched the video when it came out, and I knew it was bad.
It was terrible. I did not know all of the shit that went down with it.
Jeff was the one who kept me updated and kind of forced me to watch.
I have a sneeze coming on. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you, my child.
See, I'm allergic to bullshit. We start talking about Fallout 76 and it makes me sneeze.
See, the thing about Fallout games, I never played Fallout 1, I never played Fallout 2, played a ton of Fallout 3, played an immense amount of Fallout New Vegas, played a ton of Fallout 4. They're all great games. I don't know how Bethesda got lucky with Fallout 4 being as okay as it is, but then I was like, Fallout 76. And then I heard, they announced it, and they were like, oh, you can pre-order it. And I was like, nah, you know what? I don't have a good feeling about this. And I let people pre-order. I was like, no, go ahead, pre-order it. See what you think about it. And just watched from, like, miles and miles away as a nuclear bomb struck the land in front of me. And all the smoke clouds said was, get fucked, Bethesda. Like, that's all that it said.
Yeah, so I saw the writing on the wall when they announced it to be like an MMO-style game. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to wait to see what happens. And a lot of people did too, but a lot of people also pre-ordered it because they're just loyal fans. And like loyal fans do, man, you get excited about it. So I know some people who didn't know it was going to be an online game. I knew people who got it and didn't know that. And I was like, bro, really? And he's like, oh, shit. But, I mean, it's like a never-ending dumpster fire, man. This is like, there's so much content that comes out on this thing that just makes it just an embarrassment to their name.
It's not even the content or lack of content. That's just, icing on the cake. It's how scummy that Bethesda has been with Fallout 76. Just absolute scum of the earth. They've been rude. They've literally lied to people. And yeah, there was one thing, right, that I remember from the Internet Historian video, that they had something on like the marketplace, like the in-game store or whatever, right, that had been marked as being discounted, when in actuality they marked it at discount. It was never released at a different price. It was released discounted and stayed discounted until they removed it, because they priced it as being discounted to get people to buy it by thinking, oh, it's discounted, so it's less than what it would be. Surely I have to buy it and give the company money. So they essentially lied. On top of all the other things that they lied about.
Oh, all the other shit. God dang. I mean, we could be sitting here all day and talking about that, and pretty much anybody who would click on this stream probably already knows about it.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't. It's like, I imagine it's like when you're like talking to somebody that lost a fight or something, that they just get so upset that they don't even want to talk about it. That's how I feel about Fallout 76. It's like, what? I don't get it. It could have been so much better. I don't know.
Okay, so also, this is via an IGN article by Adam Bankers. I think I'm saying that right. The Last of Us Part 2 and Fallout 76 lead October's 2021's PlayStation Now games. Part of this article, it talks about, he comes down and, okay, look, if it's free to play, I'll play Fallout 76 if it doesn't fucking break my thing, but I'm not going to pay for anything in there.
And it's funny you say that. Fallout 76 has bricked people's systems before.
It has, absolutely.
And a lot, just not some, a lot of people got screwed by it.
Yeah.
So,
and if you put your information into the website to get your canvas bag, whatever other shit, you essentially dox yourself, because anyone could go to the website and access everybody's shipping shit and all their names and everything, but that's neither here nor there.
Canvas bag? Don't you mean like cheap-ass nylon?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about it is certain influencers got the canvas bag, but then they lied to everybody and then was like, the materials are too expensive. No, it's not. You know how much money you have to play with to just give people the canvas bags that they paid for instead of the shitty nylon versions that don't even look good?
I thought they started by saying there was a shortage, and then they said the materials are too expensive.
Yeah. It was a mix of things that they came up with excuses for, and it was dumb.
It was really stupid. It was just them lying to their customers, man. But, so, I know we weren't around when, we were around, but this podcast, we weren't sitting around talking about this when The Last of Us 2 dropped, but this guy wants to bring up The Last of Us 2, and in our The Last of Us Part 2 review, we said that it is a this is quotations, is a masterpiece that evolves the gameplay, cinematic storytelling, and rich world design of the original in nearly every way. That is bullshit. I loved the first one highly, still way more than the second one. Oh my god. And then Fallout 76, which is a multiplayer-focused take on the classic Bethesda franchise. Okay, they're saying classic like Bethesda. Okay. Bethesda did not make Fallout. And people who never played the first and second one, then they don't know like the lore. I'm not going to get into this because it's going to go deep into that fucking rabbit hole. But when you have people who talk like this, it irritates me because they make it sound like Bethesda made Fallout. They did not make Fallout. They bought the rights, the licensings for it. But is also joining PS Now, and will give players an opportunity to check out its new 6th season. It's been around that long already, huh? Crazy. And the Fallout Worlds update, which will be the game's testing ground for Bethesda's wildest ideas. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck I don't know what they think they're doing with Fallout, man. Like 76, they really need to leave it alone. Whoever they have working on that, it's wasted manpower.
Maybe they've just come to the sick realization that they know it's a pile of shit, and they're just throwing stuff at it, right? And just experimenting, right? They've come to terms.
Crazy.
they've come to terms with the fact that it's garbage, and so they're like, let's just start doing stuff to it. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, this is their testing ground.
And I hope the next Fallout game is better, of course. Which there was news of a New Vegas 2 being made, but I don't know if I trust them a lot. I don't want to get my hopes up. And if a New Vegas 2 is coming out, I honestly don't know what story they would base it off of. There's a couple options, but
Is the news that Obsidian's going to be on that by chance?
Well, they don't have a lot of the original people that worked on New Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they still have Jay Sawyer, which he was pretty pivotal in New Vegas.
I will say, though,
a lot dedicated to him.
because we talked about it last episode, where Adam had told us that since they've been bought up by Microsoft, they're basically having to rebuild their engine, which, kind of going back to Fallout 76, that game should have never been made on the same engine that Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout 4 had been made on. If they were making it a multiplayer game like that, there's no way that engine should have been used.
Fucking
But
Morrowind.
now, well, Morrowind, it wasn't the same engine as this. Morrowind was I forget the name of it, but the jump from Morrowind to Oblivion was a completely different engine. Yeah.
Oh my god. When was that? Let me look that up.
Either way, though, it's Fallout 76 should have never been made on that same engine. A and B. Now that they're making this new engine, I think they want to use Fallout New Vegas 2 to see how far they can push the boundaries of it, and then do Elder Scrolls 6.
So the Morrowind engine was NetImmerse, and Oblivion was Gamebryo.
Yeah, and they dropped in 2011, and Oblivion dropped.
Morrowind wasn't. There's no way Morrowind was in 2011.
That can't be right, because
Morrowind was way. That was 10 years ago. There's no way. Skyrim's been out for 10 years.
Yeah, that can't be right. That's not right.
I think Morrowind came out in before the 2000s. Let's see here.
Morrowind came out in 2002.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Sense to what I'm looking at.
Either way,
no, this is
because New Vegas did test the boundaries of that engine from Oblivion to New Vegas, because New Vegas had a lot in it.
Yeah, what I'm looking at now is saying Morrowind May 1st of 2002. The other thing in that article was total bullshit, unless they're talking about a separate release to Morrowind.
I don't think there was ever a separate released one.
Oblivion was 2006.
Yeah, so it couldn't have been that.
Either way, what I'm getting at is I think New Vegas 2 might be the testing grounds for this new engine, just to see how far they can push it as it stands right now. But the whole rumor from New Vegas 2 comes from a trusted leaker within the leaking community, and they leaked a bunch of releases for games that turned out to be true. So if the pattern follows, it seems that it could very well be true, considering how true his leaks have been in the past.
If we believe that it's true, right, which I want to, I really do.
Yeah.
If we believe that it's true, that begs some questions that we need to sort of brainstorm about, right? One of which being, surely it's not going to be called New Vegas 2, but maybe be set in the same general atmosphere, or it could just very well be called New Vegas 2. Also, there are a couple different ways they could go about the story. Events leading just after the Hoover Dam fight, maybe a separate character. Hell, they could make a game based on Doc Mitchell's life, because you don't learn anything about that. That would be cool.
That would be cool shit.
Just a whole bunch of cool stuff, I think.
There's a lot of story to be told within Fallout, but I think the story within New Vegas has been told unless you go far into the future or far into the past.
Well, another thing, which you wouldn't know because you never played the Lonesome Road DLC.
Okay,
right?
listen.
The courier, right, that you play as, did things that happened that were very substantial before the events that you play. The courier is solely responsible for the divide. I think it's called not the divide. Is it the divide? The in the Lonesome Road. You know how it's all goofed and everything. He set off those nukes, I think.
Yeah.
He's the one that was responsible for that. I think he had a family, or Ulysses had a family. Ulysses was deeply involved with them. It could be something involving that. The events that happened before what you start out as doing in the beginning of Fallout.
You playing as the courier in that sense, and you
like the Lonesome Road DLC definitely opened up the possibility for exploring things that happened beforehand, because the courier went far. He has been many places besides New Vegas. He just happened to wind up there as he was doing his courier shit with the platinum chip, and then got nay-nayed by fucking Benny, and then things happen. But he's done a lot, the courier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so one thing I am looking forward, as far as Bethesda games go, is going to be Starfield.
Yeah, I am excited for Starfield.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this because it's going to be something new that they're going to be touching up on.
Space RPG? Yes, please.
What was it Todd said? Skyrim in space?
Skyrim in space, yeah.
Yeah. Cool, dude.
Dude, I am excited for that, because we've played a game, Lane, that's could be essentially called that, Skyrim in space, where it's called Pulsar. I think it's still in early development, but it is really fun.
I wouldn't call it anything close to Skyrim in space.
Well, yeah, because it's still in early access and it's still adding a lot, but it's still very fun in the terms of it's an RPG in space. You take on missions, you can either make deliveries, you can engage bounty hunters, you can do space battles or land missions, depending on what you have to do. There's a whole story within it, and this galaxy is huge. And you have to manage fuel and storage, and you actually have reputations that you can either uphold or demolish, and
It's kind of like the new No Man's Sky.
It's not as in depth as No Man's Sky. It's very simplified, but it's just as fun.
Which, by the way, guys, y'all need to play that in VR. And whenever y'all come down, or come over, or come up, depending on your direction of travel,
Pulsar is VR as well, by the way.
Yeah, I'll slap up the headset and have y'all jump into that and check it out. It's freaking awesome.
I'm tempted to pack up my PC and bring it with me so we can play some of the VR games on my PC.
They're pretty cool. You should, man. We had set it up in the man cave or the living quarters. But did you ever play Stalker by chance?
If you mean Stalker is in S.T.A.L.K.E.R. I never played it, but I've seen it played. I think it was Shadows of Chernobyl that I saw played.
Yeah. So that was the same one I remember playing a long time ago. It's crazy to think. We got another one coming out now.
Really?
Heart of Chernobyl, my man.
It's funny. I actually have one of those games for the Xbox. Let me check which one. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I have Metro Exodus, actually.
Which one?
Which is a similar sort of game. It's based in
wait a minute. I need to derail
Metro game.
Our topic. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic not remaster, but a remake.
Yeah.
I am over the moon. I am beyond over the moon for this. I love Knights of the Old Republic.
Me too, and I'm hopefully optimistic, but there were some articles about the woman who's making it who said that she wasn't a fan. So I don't know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. According to it, it was in one of the interviews with her. We'll wait and see what happens. Of course, that's just kind of my thing on anything nowadays, is I don't just jump the gun. But apparently she was not a fan, and it's not going to be, like the old one. But we'll see. We'll see what she does with it. My buddy Jim, he's like you, Zach. He's a huge Star Wars fan, and we'll see. He's even him. He's like, damn it, because he's like, God dang it. He's like, they just can't leave anything alone, can they? And I was like, no, man. I guess they can't.
Listen. I am beyond hopefully optimistic because, well, yeah, you can say like one person in charge isn't a fan. Their team, you can be rest assured, more than likely are, because you don't take on a project like Knights of the Old Republic without knowing what it's about. That's just one of those things that you just don't do.
Yeah, you would think that.
So with it being that they're doing a remake of it, not a remaster, but a remake, I am very excited to see the results, whether they be good or bad. But I think the reason why they're doing a remake of Knights of the Old Republic is because Knights of the Old Republic 3 is such a high-demand game. Even now, it is just such a high-demand game. And they're trying to... If they're doing a remake, it hints more at the fact that they may actually be working on 3.
Along with this?
Along with this, yes. Because I don't feel that you do a remake of a game without also potentially expanding upon that game's story.
Yeah, you know that Switch is getting some of the classic games like Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes, that comes out on November 11th.
Yeah, it comes out next month, man. So that is something I'm looking forward to because I haven't played that in a minute. Last time I played that, I had that we had that Python or Cobra Tower rig.
But it's funny because Knights of the Old Republic for the Switch and Elder Scrolls Skyrim anniversary or 10th anniversary comes out on the same day, so that day is going to be filled with lots of gaming. Because I think Yuri said it. Where if you have the special edition, the 10th anniversary edition is a free upgrade. Which is a very cool thing, I think. And then because Knights of the Old Republic is on every possible platform. It's on the original Xbox. It's on it's not on PlayStation, but I think maybe it's on PS5. I'm not entirely sure. But now it's on Switch. It's also on mobile platform, and it's still on PC. And it's just, it's always so good. And the reason why I particularly like Knights of the Old Republic, I played it when I was very young, so it's very nostalgic, but it's still really good to this day. And obviously, now I'm heavily involved in D&D stuff. It's a digital D20-based system, which I didn't realize until a couple years ago when I first got into D&D and then played it again and was like, holy shit, this is literally a D&D a character sheet, just digital and in Star Wars. So it enhanced my experience even more. And I do a playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic and Sith Lords about once every year. And they're always just so good because each time you play, you can do a completely different build, and you can make yourself really, really powerful. Or it's always a treat to play. Okay, and the character stories too. The character stories too are completely unmatched.
So I found the article that was talking about this that came out this year. This is actually by Cosmic Book News, written by Matt McLoyne. So it says Disney Star Wars looks to continue its woke approach to the material with the remake of the popular Knights of the Old Republic video game. So the official, here we go. Twitter user Data Racer points out that the Knights, which Data Racer is fucking awesome. If you can follow him, I mean, I totally recommend keeping up with him. He's got some pretty hot takes, but he's usually like on the nose with everything. Points out that the Knights of the Old Republic video game remake is being written by Sam Maggs, who apparently isn't a big fan of the original game. As tweets unearthed reveal, Maggs stated it's not her favorite, or a favorite. The official info released by Lucasfilm sees the developers offering the remake, quote unquote, requires a talented team that understands the original game at a deep level. But we see that probably isn't the case with Sam Maggs, who obviously isn't a big fan of the original. And then one of her quotes from Twitter is, quote unquote, isn't KOTOR your favorite? /no. Additional tweets from the writer show Sam Maggs attacking fans over Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and Rey. If you want to hate Rey, at least be honest about it. You hate that she's a Mary Sue because she's a woman in all caps. It's cool. Just be real about it, tweeted Mags. The Last Jedi. Men screw literally everything up every time, states another tweet. Oh my, and it just goes on and on about all this. And then there's like an all caps, her just raging at men. And she's the lead writer on this. So she will have a lot of say on what happens. And
but
that
again,
was
it's also saying
Sorry.
that there's a talented team behind it, and you can't really have one person against an entire team and then put it into writing and say this is what we're going with. Obviously, it's not how it works. But at the same time, if you want to get mad at any aspect of Knights of the Old Republic, you should. There's really nothing to be mad about because all of the characters, whether male or female, in Knights of the Old Republic are very well written. And you cannot tell me, you cannot sit here and lie to my face and tell me Bastila is not a bad bitch. Bastila is a very well written female character within Knights of the Old Republic, and she is a bad bitch.
Dude, just because you're a male, so they're just gonna say that you're just sexualizing her. That's all.
Listen, even as a kid, I understood the power that she holds. Because you have to understand, when it comes to... This is obviously expanded universe. Bastila has a rare... what they call... I can't remember if it's... It's not really called anything, but she has a rare power, like a gift, where it's battle meditation. And it's simply, if she can sit in meditation... If she can sit in meditation in a battle, the forces that she is focusing on have almost... a infinite foresight into enemies' attack plans, their formations, this, that, and the other. So the team that she's meditating on, the side that she is meditating on, are just rigorously inspired, and they have immediate reaction times to whatever the enemy throws at them. She, and by all accounts, is overpowered as shit. Yeah. But her writing, the way they write her is... Well, yeah, she is a little stubborn and she is a little zealotrous when it comes to the Force. She restrains that power because she knows if she goes into any battle and meditates, she wins. But not every battle needs to be won that way.
Yeah.
And so she shows that restraint until, which, this is spoilers, but if you haven't played Knights of the Old Republic by this point, shame on you. Until she turns to the dark side, then she just starts free-running using that fucking power. She's just like, yes, I finally feel like I have the freedom to do whatever I want, and I will just use this power without any consequence.
Yeah, pretty much unstoppable at that point. If she can get about meditating. But, Lane, I'm not... I know Zach is, one of the leading fans of Star Wars. How big are you in... George Lucas's Star Wars, or even Disney's, however you feel?
Star Wars to me is like Metallica. I appreciate it from afar, and if it happens to come up, I will listen/watch it. But I don't actively seek it out. Star Wars also just, I think the lore is really cool, but because I looked into some of the more extreme lores, it kind of makes me sad and wish that they expanded more upon the characters in the lore that were very ultimately powerful, like in the sense that they could just straight up nuke a planet because they exist and the power that they have, and like the ones that literally just can't die because they are being held together by their power. I just think it would be cooler. Star Wars would be a whole lot cooler if they did like a spin-off series or something where they expanded more upon the more OP or dangerous characters.
There is I definitely get that point where it's like, oh, they can't die because they're held together because of their sheer will. But I feel like that's what makes them cool, and not necessarily that they just can't die. For example, Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Sith Lords. Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus is literally a dark side, not spirit, but like the essence of the dark side coalesced into a being that is held together essentially by his will to live also by consuming the life essence of planets. So he is a planet killer within his own right.
He's a Galactus.
But he can be defeated. It just takes an evenly matched person of the light to do that. Or in a game mechanics case, your character.
But that's game mechanics. But in lore, and what I enjoy and respect a lot about it is it's all about balance. It's about the balance between light and dark. So if there's somebody that powerful on the dark side, then it would make sense that there's someone like that on the light side. Am I right, Zach?
Kind of. The rules don't exactly apply when it comes to expanded universe, when it comes to stuff like that, but in most cases, yes. Which we can, and I hate that people interpret this wrong. It comes down to the rule of two, where most people assume the rule of two is like there can only ever always be two Sith, a master and apprentice. That is not true in the slightest. What the rule of two refers to is that there can never be one individual Sith in any context, because a Sith left unhinged like that is completely dangerous, and even other Sith are afraid of them. Put it to you like this. You have, which is canon in like Star Wars The Clone Wars, at that point you have a couple of people who could be considered Sith at that point. So you have Palpatine. You have Palpatine, who was taken on Dooku and was training Dooku as a Sith until Dooku became his own master. Then Dooku took on an apprentice in the form of Ventress. Then you had Palpatine taking on and grooming Anakin. All the while this is happening, fucking Maul is still alive, who can widely be considered a Sith, who then takes on his brother as an apprentice. So you have 6 people who could be considered Sith here, but there's always an even number. There's always 2, because a Sith left unhinged or left without let's say a master teaching an apprentice, or an apprentice craving the power to become a master, either way, they're completely left unhinged, and they are dangerous. So the rule of two, with the rule of two, when it's stated in the movies, when Yoda says there's always 2, there must be a master and an apprentice, no more, no less, it refers to the fact that there is only always ever a pair of Sith when it comes down to the entirety of the Sith itself. Always 2, a master and apprentice, the apprentice to crave the power and the master to teach it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that people interpret that wrong all the time. I hate it. It pisses me off.
They try to simplify it and they get it wrong.
They're like, oh, only 2 Sith can ever exist. There can never be more than 2 Sith. No, you're wrong. There can be more than 2 Sith as a whole, but it always has to be even pairs. There always has to be a pair of them.
Yeah.
So checks and balances.
Yes.
It's the idle hands, you know. The idle hands are the devil's playthings.
Yeah.
That just makes me want even more, though, for there to be canonically, like, in canon, a movie, a show, something, hell, even just something live action with perfect CGI, right? Of just 2 absolutely massively powerful forces going at it, right? Like, because, like, you know, a story doesn't always have to be, oh, this one person goes through trials and tribulations to take on the big bad that they couldn't have taken on at the start of the movie. It doesn't always have to be that. It could be based on someone that's clearly not equipped and will never be equipped to take on something as powerful as the big bad, and then just be about them, and then them being saved by a person that they maybe assisted in coming back to their power and taking on the big bad.
I like that, and here's what I would like to see from that. I would like to see, obviously Darth Vader has been played in a lot. Anakin as Darth Vader has been played in a lot. Now, and I want to explain my thinking on this. So Anakin, in terms of Darth Vader, Anakin was, I think they referred to him as one of the virginses in the Force, and he was the one who was destined, quote unquote, to bring balance to the Force. But instead, his subconscious brought him to the dark side, and then he became Darth Vader. So he basically became the ultimate power when it comes to the dark side. What I would like to see, because Star Wars is all about the balance here, I would love to see Ahsoka come, like, either whether it's in her TV show or in some form of media. I would like to see Ahsoka in her, let's say, adult form, fully adult form, essentially come back in full-on, just almost in like the third episode of Star Wars where Anakin and Obi-Wan fight. Those two just fight in this just ultimate fucking battle. Because to me, I could see with Darth Vader now, he is the ultimate evil of the dark side. I would love to see Ahsoka, who is a Jedi exile, who has accepted that fact, but still goes around. She tries to help people do the right thing, this, that, and the other. She still has her Jedi training. She still has her lightsabers. I would love to see her come back and take on more of the light side approach. And then you have this ultimate dark side and ultimate light side person who is not bound by any Jedi beliefs clash and just go at it. Because it was shown in it was a Star Wars Rebels, where there were a few skirmishes between Vader and Ahsoka. But I want to see a full-on, just all-out battle between the two in some form of media.
Well, it looks like we have a guest.
We have a guest?
Oh.
We do have a guest!
Yeah, he finally decided to join us for a stream.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to check the stream just to be sure that we do have audio?
I can do it real quick. Alright.
Nobody's talking. It's gonna make a lot of sense. What's going on, man?
Uh-oh. That does not seem bueno.
Yeah, I checked way earlier and I was like, that's strange.
Drake, I think you may have goofed.
Let me check
Look
again.
at Drake's channel real quick. Let me see.
Drake, I think you may have goofed.
Let me see. We can always just restart.
Or I can just send you my stream and you can just use the audio over it.
Yeah, I could do that.
I'm not hearing sound from YouTube at all. Let me check on my phone just to be sure. I think Drake did the goof. Wait, Drake, do you have your earbuds in?
No, I got volume.
Do you? I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing us talking.
I'm hearing the audio now, but it's just the song.
I hear the music playing.
Okay, yeah, that worked. Then what's going on with the audio? So it's the hookup's fine, so it's something on OBS on the active screen.
Yeah, I'm hearing the song now, but I'm not hearing it. Do you have your earbuds in,
Yeah.
Drake, is what I was getting at.
No, I don't.
That may be why.
When I go back into the stream, like further back, there's no audio.
Should be working now.
Uh-oh. Alright, you're still on your, let's see here. You're still on your screen where it's just like, oh, it's the...
There's a delay.
Okay. Let's see if it does. I love the music you have for your overlay, too. Like, I was listening to it whenever, I was listening to it when I started watching your stream just to hear...
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, it's working now.
Should be working now.
Drake goofed. We haven't been hearing shit on his podcast this whole time.
Hold on. This is the best part about it, guys. So now we got Cap. We got our boy. We got our guest for the day. We can go ahead and actually do the stream. Isn't this wacky?
Oh, yeah. I could just send you the audio for mine.
What's even wackier is the fact that Cap, what were you doing?
Wait, is Cap here?
Uh-huh.
Oh, he is here.
Yeah, everybody's here now.
Oh, everybody's here now. Fuck yeah.
Isn't that
I
weird?
can't hear him.
Cap, we can't hear you even though your thing is lighting up.
I'm not talking.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cap, what?
You're late.
Cap,
Late.
tell us about the cult, man.
Or no, tell us about those sweet-ass dreams you must have been having, because if you weren't asleep, what were you doing?
I was sleeping.
Uh-huh.
A likely story.
Good man. So real quick before we catch up with Caleb, Cap, we need an update on the cult, man. We need to know what's going on. You only gave us like you teased us. You just teased.
We're gonna hop right into that, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I called the lady, and we had quite a nice conversation. I put on a 10-star
Good man.
performance because my blood sugar had crashed right at that moment, so that made my voice very shaky. So
You know
I
what's going
picked up.
on.
She picked up the
You only gave
phone.
us like
And
you
I
teased
get
us.
this,
You
the
just teased
most
us.
British voice I've ever heard in my entire life. I almost think it was fake. She went, "Hello, is this Joshua?"
That's so fake.
And I had a temporary moment of panic because I've not told this person my name yet. I have specifically avoided it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like joke and use my D&D name, or if I was gonna use my real name.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have caller ID set up on my phone or anything, so it was strange. It was weird.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I was like, she was like, my
Just-
condolences to your lost friend. Do you mind telling me more about the situation? So I told her. I was like, yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I lost my friend.
Drake, I can hear your music.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that, my man. Go for it.
Excuse me.
So 2 weeks ago, your friend died.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago my friend died. And I was like, and I was really just hoping like to talk to them before, or like from the other side. And she was like, yeah, I understand. I can do it. I absolutely could. It would be very easy for me. I was like, okay. And she said, but I'm not gonna. And I said, oh. She was like, well, you see, when you bring somebody from the other world back into our world, there's a chance that you could hurt the spirit, and damage them permanently as they're trying to set up their new life.
Yeah, you know,
And
coffee tables and furniture and shit.
yeah, hit their shin. Who knows? Um,
You don't joke about that. My shin is taking a beating.
so in my head, I was like, actually, that's quite nice. She has, I mean, she's still a little bit crazy. But you know, she's not taking advantage of of what she believes my poor mental state is right now, like most would do. So she talks for a little while. She was like, "But you
Yeah.
know, if you still need to get over this, I've got what you need. I can train you to get
Oh,
over your grief."
oh.
Uh, and I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "Yeah, you know, I've trained several people. I've trained them to get over grief. I've trained them to become psychics themselves." Uh, and then she was like, "And you know, what's really important is that you'll see this person when you go into the afterlife. Uh, Nobody ever really dies." And I was like, "Okay, that's a common belief." And then she, except for me, I'll live forever. And I was like, "Oh."
Because she believes in the goddess.
She
Oh!
didn't mention the goddess.
You forgot to mention as well that she talked about the fact that she believes that every religion, the moment it is conceived, is real.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
That was the next step. So after she told me she was immortal, that's exactly what she mentioned. She was like, you know, it's, what based on what you believe, and all this. And every religion that has ever existed on Earth is real.
Okay,
I was
so
like, what?
she's going full Kevin Hearn and the Iron Druid series. I like it. Okay.
She said, if you believe something is going to happen after you die, it will happen. Because you're innately powerful. And I was like, okay. And then right at the end, I was like, this woman's insane, but she's not like harmful. And right at the end, she was like, and while I'm training you, sometimes what could happen is if the spirit is strong enough and willing, they could come over from the other side themselves and talk to you if they wanted. It doesn't always happen, but there's a chance. I was like, oh, that's shitty. That's not a good thing to do to people.
Oh yeah, she was trying to get all the money out of you that she could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty smart, man. That's pretty smart of her. She didn't just outright just agree. She like baited you in.
Yeah, she baited me in. She told me her story, and then at the end, she gave me a little bit of false hope to try and hook me back in.
Now I've got two big questions. First off, how much are we gonna have to give you to go and get your psychic lessons? And two, are you gonna have a graduation ceremony?
She wouldn't tell me, but I could call her again and ask. Because I didn't want to immediately be like, train me to be a psychic, but I want her to train me to be a psychic.
Yeah, we need her. We need that in my life right now.
And if there is a graduation ceremony, I'll invite you guys. We can all drink Kool-Aid and have fun together.
Oh, drink Kool-Aid, huh?
Wearing my best robe. Caleb, you can be our getaway driver. So if they ever do that-
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna be drifting and stuff like that while you guys are about to head to the mothership.
As we board,
Yeah.
watch Tom Cruise will be her guest.
Oh, well, since we, I had our, I had our commercial break in the very beginning for gamer subs. I have since received an email about purchasing those waifu cups, Drake.
Oh god dang it!
Wait,
I might,
wait,
man. I was looking at them. I was trying to debate which one I wanted to grab.
wait a minute. While I wasn't paying attention, did we get sponsored by Gamer Subs?
So what I did is I took a commercial break and I was like, I am drinking this morning my Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000 out of my patented Russian Badger cup, or Russian Badger shaker. And then I got, I just wanted to say, Gamer Subs, if you guys ever want to sponsor us, you're more than welcome to. I'll take it in a heartbeat. And Drake mentioned he was looking at the waifu cups. And, yeah, all in all, very good commercial break, very wholesome. Hopefully they notice us and, they supply me with a lifetime supply of direct injected slow drip guacamole gamer fart that I can just shove into my veins.
Is that one really called Guacamole Gamer Fart?
Yes, Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000. It is very, very good.
That sounds awful.
It's so
Not
good,
because
though.
Not even because of the Gamer Fart. I just hate guacamole.
It's not guacamole, though. That's the best part.
Yeah, the best part is it's just flatulence.
It's just farts. You're drinking liquid fart.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a bit of a technical hiccup on my end. I was just a goob. So are we gonna discuss everything we discussed again?
Well,
I don't want to do that.
like I said, I can send you the audio of my stream, and
Yeah, I'll have to put it over the stream or something, man. And
ooh, excuse me.
either that or if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna clip it. We're gonna have like a 20-minute stream at the end.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Drake goofed.
Yeah, you got the limited edition on yours. You viewers on yours got the audio.
I have
Guys, they
the
got
minted
free.
version.
Yeah, our guys got just photos of us for like an hour. And a badass song to start off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I like though, Caleb. What have you been up to, man?
Just enjoying the double ear infection.
Oh Jesus Christ, my dude!
I am more deaf than a deaf man right now. I have to max everybody out when with all 200% on Discord if I want to hear anything. And
Jesus.
for games, I got to turn my volume up to max. Same with my headset.
Do you have one of those ear horns?
No, I do not. I have a ear appointment ear doctor appointment in 20 days, and they're gonna get rid of all this wax, and I'm gonna be able to hear everything.
20.
2020 hearing.
It's gonna be gone by that point.
Yeah, you'll just become a ball of wax. Like, they're gonna put you in a wax museum.
You're gonna be a wax statue, yeah!
Yeah, they're gonna use a vacuum. The ear infection will be gone, but they're gonna vacuum that shit, and it hurts like hell because the wax sticks to your eardrums.
Mhm.
Your eardrums are one of the most sensitive parts of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my
So,
stepdad, he has the same issue, man. He has what's called an overproduction of wax.
I have that as well. That's me.
Yeah. So do you want?
That's
do you
me.
flush-
I'm your stepdad.
Daddy?
Dad? Is that you? Do you love?
Yeah. So do you have to flush your ears or anything, man? Because he has to do that. He has to like flush his ears, and he has like this.
I do that regularly.
Yeah, he has to do that like all the time, and like it comes out in like chunks. It's crazy, man. Like it's crazy to see what comes out.
It's
I
very
think we
annoying,
should,
but
I think we should change subjects. This is
what? It's just earwax.
The forbidden cheese. The forbidden cheese.
I want to know Cap's thought on Blue Box before this is all over. He wasn't here for that.
oh, that's right. Blue Box is that company that people are threatening because they keep putting out fake games.
Yeah. Well, kind of. It's also because there's a big Kojima theory.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know about the Kojima theory. I think that if you're gonna play stupid games, you're obviously gonna win stupid prizes. So if your business model is to fuck people over and make them excited for something and then never deliver, you get what you fucking deserve.
Yeah, you get death threats. That's what happens.
They're fucking. We're just people who work here. Shut the fuck up.
There's a difference between making a shitty game, like actually making the game and releasing it shitty, and just saying you're making a shitty game and then never coming out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe we played with fire and we got burned. That being said, though, I do not promote of you sending death threats. Please do not do that.
Yeah, so something that we discovered was that the and maybe you know this, maybe you don't. Fallout 76, my man, apparently is still going hot and heavy with like new DLC and stuff. In fact, it's free. It was free apparently almost all October, and it ends on the 5th. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I might have to pick it up.
Oh, I hope he's joking.
Me too. We're gonna hear like his console breaks. It actually catches fire.
Like his fucking last computer.
Hey, don't talk about my last computer like that.
I'm sorry.
So I heard that your last computer actually caught fire. Did it actually catch fire, or did it just overheat?
It actually caught fire.
What did you do?
Okay, so I dust my computer regularly like a good boy. But I think what happened was I wasn't dusting the power supply correctly. So one day I turned on my computer and for whatever reason it sparked and it caught the power supply on fire.
Oh. I want to know, how did you handle that situation?
I was sitting in my room and I turned on my computer and all of my lights went out. And I was like, that's weird. So I reset my breaker downstairs and I come up and I was like, something smells like it's burning. So I turned back on my computer and it burst into flames. And I was like, oh, that's really bad.
I love the sound effect you have for that. Can you do it again for me?
No, I cannot. All my sound effects are made in moment. I don't even hear them.
It was definitely a...
He's like...
Anyway, so I unplugged my computer, which didn't help, and I picked it up, and I threw it, and that did it.
And that fixed the problem.
What story did you throw it from?
I didn't throw it out the window, I threw it on the ground.
In your house?
Yeah.
Let me get
That
this
was kind of...
flaming ball of plastic and just put it on my bed real quick.
Yeah.
Put it on the floor.
I'm just throw it on the insulation in my house, the forbidden cotton candy.
Did you at least grab the fire extinguisher?
I don't know where the fucking fire extinguisher
So-
is.
Okay, literally. So
Fucking member of society.
As a firefighter, I can tell you did your first step right. You unplugged it from the electrical source. Everything after that went to shit.
this all proves. This is all the more reason to the theory that we think that Cap is autistic.
Whatever.
Fuck up. Stop telling people that.
I will create a cult of. I'm gonna create the cult of Cap and say he is our one true lord, but he is autistic.
Jesus Christ.
I actually have a photo of the laptop, of my desktop after it got on fire.
It's pretty funny.
Let me see if I can
Let's
find
see
it.
it. Let's see it.
I need that in my life right now too.
Let me take a look. I'm gonna have to really search through some old photos.
Speaking of catching fire, it is almost Christmas time, and I don't know, Zach, have you kept up the tradition of lighting yourself on fire?
Oh my god, I forgot about this story, and you're gonna make me tell it. All right, okay.
Well, I've been lit on fire before too.
So,
Okay,
So-
fire.
I'm gonna tell the story about our thing, right? Because this was just I created a new dance move from this. Okay. So it was myself, Drake, Caitlin, Autumn, Trotter, and Courtney. We were at my house when I lived with my dad, and we were like, "Oh, it's getting kind of into the Christmas time. It's getting cold. Let's have a bonfire." So we go out there and we light our burn pile up. Flames going up real nice. But we're like, man, like this is burning pretty quick, or it's burning pretty slowly, and the fire's not actually big. We kind of want to have a big fire. Let's go get the gas can out of the shop and use it as accelerant for the fire.
Hang on 1 second. Whose idea was that?
Let's not talk about whose idea that was.
Yeah. Okay. As long as that's clear to the audience.
So I go and get the gas can, and Drake is like instructing me like the best way to do this. It's like you should pour a little bit, but then immediately pull back to kind of cut off the stream, and so you don't have to worry about it traveling upstream and catching the gasoline in the can on fire. So I'm like, got it. So I'm like, bloop, I do the first little bit, and then bloop, I do the little second bit, and then I go for the third one. And I guess my stupid ass just wasn't quick enough about it, and it just immediately caught fire and traveled up the stream and into the gas can. And I drop the can, and gas goes all over my pants leg, and my pants leg just catches immediately. So I immediately just start full-on hands on my legs, padding out and hopping around my leg. And then the gas can is still on fire on the interior of it with the gas, it's still burning. So I'm like, shit, what do I do? So I immediately just cover my hand in like a cloth and just slap it onto the cap I take the cap off and then slap it onto the exit and just suffocate the fire on the inside of it. But the damage was already done. The can was pretty melted. It didn't leak everywhere, but it melted a little bit. And so I'm like, fuck. So I go and put the gas can back and just don't tell my dad. And so my dad goes like a week later to go get the gas can, and he's like, so you want to tell me why the gas can is melted? And I was like, He's like, you owe me a new gas can, and I'm like, okay.
Let me tell you what it was like from our point of view. So Zach had all that. He was putting it in, and he did the first two, and then him and I and Trotter, we were walking around and we were talking. And I can't remember, did Trotter ask Autumn out at this time, or was it?
So they were dating by this point.
They were.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember because I remember we were talking, and okay, Autumn was there then.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
It was the entire crew then.
Yeah.
Okay, so the girls were over in a corner then, because I couldn't remember if it was Caitlin, Autumn, and Courtney. They were all over, and we were all in one place talking and walking around.
They were just watching us be idiots.
Pretty much. And then we're just talking, and I'm talking to Zach, and then Zach is talking with me, and I guess he just got distracted. And he went to go throw it in. He pulled the can back, and he literally drug a trail of gas on the ground, and it just followed up to him on the ground.
It was chasing me.
It went straight into the fucking barrel, or the can that he had in his hand. And the first reaction we all had was just to back the fuck away from him for a second to see what was going to happen. And then his leg there. So we're like, oh shit! And then we all just like bum rush Zach and start trying to help him, but he's just running around slapping his leg, so we can't catch him. So, and then we look at the can and we're like, fuck, the can or Zach? Well, we're going to Zach. So when Zach got put out, he went over and, like you said, he pretty much barehanded almost just slapped the front of that thing until the fire went out. But
it was great.
it was pretty good. It was a great night. In fact, Zach wanted to continue the tradition, and if it wasn't for the brilliance of all of us talking him out of it, who knows?
Well,
We might.
I have a history with fire, dude, because I've also got that story with the dumpster fire in Savannah, and that just...
Yeah, we can get to that one in
Later,
just a second. Caleb has a story where he lit himself on fire, and Lane.
Well, I know I didn't light myself on fire. One of my friends lit me on
Oh
fire.
my god.
Better.
So it was the second year of high school. We all were up mischievously in the bathroom, and one of my emo friends,
It's a bit sus.
his name was Gabriel.
Mhm.
He had something to smoke on, so we were this was obviously the time when vaping was popular in high school. Now it's not. But we go up there for a vape sesh, and he has a hairspray can, and he has a lighter, obviously for the. Yeah, you can see where this is going. So there's like 6 people in the bathroom with us, and he just starts playing around with it, and one of the he starts to just light me up. He lit my entire sweatshirt on fire,
Jesus.
and they took all 6 people in the bathroom, including me, patting down and trying to smother the fire, and it completely ruined my my sweatshirt.
Why do you do that?
I asked him why he did that, and he said, "I don't know."
What did your mom say when she saw your shirt?
She didn't say anything because I just threw it in the trash.
Got to dispose of the evidence.
Yeah.
Caleb, I'm getting this reoccurring theory that you don't tell your parents much about what happens in your life.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, you're right.
There was an incident that you were involved with before, and you're like, I was like, how did your mom feel about that? And you're like, oh, I didn't tell her.
What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
I'll shout Gabriel out since he recently died.
Bro.
He did recently die from a drug overdose.
Oh, at least it wasn't he caught himself on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a
By the
really
way,
good.
I posted the computer.
Oh, I gotta look at that. Elaine, you, my man. Fire, and you have any good stories?
I don't know if I really have any good stories about fire. Well, technically there was one that was fire involved, actually, and I don't care about the details of this story. It doesn't matter. All right, so me and 2 of my friends in high school, right? I would hang out with the 2 of them at one of the friends' pool house, and me and these 2 guys, we would hang out in this pool house every Friday, eat pizza, do some video games and illegal activities, right?
Sure.
Water and other legal substances.
Yeah, it was legal substance. And so occasionally we would host parties there where we would have a whole bunch of people come to the pool house. And it was hosted by me and my 2 friends. We would have people come from all over the place. It was crazy. We've had drug dealers there. We had a dude straight out of prison one time. He was really chill. We played beer pong with him. He was actually a really cool guy.
I mean, he killed and raped like 5 people, but it's cool. He was a great guy.
Yeah, no, totally fine. It's cool. But I have a lot of party stories that maybe I'll get through someday. But one of such stories, right, is the bathroom on the 2nd story of the pool house was reserved for water and other legal substances. And the drinking was typically done everywhere else, such as down by the pool, on the deck, or just inside, wherever.
Yeah.
So, of course, there would be drinking and then water and other legal substances. And so we were in the bathroom, and we had this bong for tobacco,
Yeah.
Tobacco, yeah. So we had this bong. Me and my 2 friends, a little bit of backstory, we would go out with like a hacksaw, and his family owned a wire dye shop that was a walk away. All we had to do was walk there. We would usually ride there, but it was super close. So we would cut down bamboo and we would make smoking apparatuses out of them. We made many of them using sanders and drills and various tools.
Mhm.
So one of them we named Captain Fitzgerald. It was huge, literally like a couple feet tall. It was big. That's irrelevant. We had one that was really small,
Okay.
and it required two people to use because of how small it was. It was kind of awkward. So I'm sitting there in the bathroom, and my friend, his name was Vinny, right? He doesn't care. I know he's fine. My friend Vinny, he was like, "All right, I'll light it for you, and you just do the rest." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm sitting there, it's to my mouth, I'm ready. He lights it, and I'm inhaling, and I'm like, "Huh, nothing's happening." And then I smell, and I'm like, "Hold on, that's not illegal substance burning." And turns out he burnt my eyebrow. And so I look up, and he's like, "Oh shit, dude, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm fine."
How do I look?
That's pretty much the extent of it. I got my eyebrow burned off while doing legal substances in a bathroom at a party.
The entire eyebrow?
No, just like a little bit of it. It wasn't super noticeable, but he had still burned my eyebrow with a lighter. It was pretty funny.
You
Honestly.
should have just like finished it off and told him, well, you might as well go ahead and get the other side.
Yeah, go ahead. Even her up.
Yeah. So Halloween's around the corner, guys, and I can see that Caleb's in the mood. He's got the scream thing going on. I like that.
I
But
absolutely love Ghostface.
y'all got any good Halloween stories by chance that we could probably wrap up with?
No Halloween stories from me.
I don't remember if I have really any Halloween stories.
You just don't remember your Halloween. The new Hallows Eve.
Most of my Halloweens were spent on World of Warcraft, grinding away, trying to get the Headless Horseman's mount. I mean, there were a couple of Halloweens. I went one time as Scarecrow from the Arkham Knight series.
I remember
to
when
the
you were
party.
making that.
Yeah.
You were us, I think, and you were in the process of like getting it a little bit at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that thing looked badass. I love the fingers.
And then this year I'm obviously doing a Sith with my lightsaber, and my whole get up. But I don't really have very many interesting Halloween stories, unless, see, I don't even remember when that was. God. I mean, there was the time I did. I don't think this. I think this might have been close to Halloween, but there was the time I got drunk and I kissed Trotter on the cheek. I was like, "I love you, bro."
Yeah, which cheek are we talking? Up there near the head, or
you know which cheek?
Yeah, I thought. Okay.
No, it was a kid. I think it was his left cheek, because I wrapped my arm like around his shoulder, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna kiss this man because this man is great.
Zach, Lane, you guys are forgetting last year's Halloween story.
Oh yeah!
Hold on. Cap hasn't
Wait,
forgotten.
What happened last year?
What do you mean what happened last year?
Tell us what happened last year, Cap.
Last year, we went on a Halloween vacation.
Oh, I thought that was November.
No, that was in October, and
Seems like in denial. This must have been traumatizing.
we're in the middle of the same week that we went up to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last year.
The meatloaf.
Yes.
The meatloaf.
The floor
and the
loaf.
Trifling individuals.
Yeah, so we went up to see my then girlfriend. We've been dating over the internet for probably about a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like very, very excited to have sex for the first time.
Okay.
Didn't happen, first of all. Just laying that out there right now.
Keep it, man. Keep it. Make it special.
Anyway, so we all packed into my 2-door Jeep. All of our shit in one seat. Lane crammed into the front right seat, and then Zach and me switched seats as we drove up there. We drove 26 hours straight. None of us got any sleep except for Zach and maybe Lane.
No,
A little bit.
the incline of my seat There's no way
Yeah.
I could have gotten relaxed in any capacity. I was awake quite literally the entire time.
Yeah, he was awake the whole time.
Yeah.
I can
Lane-
believe
Lane-
that. No, I can totally see that.
Lane was sitting at a 45-degree angle practically. So I had drinking probably about 7 or 8 monsters in a 28-hour period. I couldn't get to sleep either, even though I tried to sort of get comfortable as I could in the back. It didn't work out. Anyway, we made it up there. I met my girlfriend in person, and then we went to a campsite. It was on this little farm. The farm was actually quite nice. We did it through what was the name of that app? Really popular one.
Airbnb.
Yeah, we Airbnb'd a campsite.
Okay.
It rained the whole time.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like so. The thing I want to interject here: you guys had the A-frame. You and the trifling individual had the A-frame, which was a very small, thing, like that 2 people could sleep in. So you guys took that,
Yeah.
but I brought my tent with us for me and Lane to sleep in. And when it rained, the condensation of the air around us, because it was cold, but it condensed to such a point that it started leaking into our tent, and like half of the tent was just covered with water.
I did not know that.
Country boys make do.
We do.
I'm so glad I did not go with you guys.
You would have fit in that tent too. That tent can viably fit 5 people.
Oh yeah, you could have fit in the tent. You could
just
have
gotta
slept
make-
next to me.
I would have fit in the tent. I would have.
Yeah. So, back on track here. Everything was wet. We tried to start a fire. We bought the wrong type of fuel for the fire.
Accelerant.
Yeah. So we couldn't, and we were suffering with that. But the first 2 days were actually not bad, despite everything. We did a little bit of drinking. We invited over our friend Frost, who took one look at our fire and instantaneously started it, like the fucking mountain boy he is.
He literally looked at it and said fire, and it just started.
Practically. So we finally had a fire going.
Okay.
There were a little bit of drunken shenanigans, but nothing too crazy. Because I was like, I'm not gonna, rush it or anything. And then on the second day, in the morning, I go to put my arm around my girlfriend, and she jerks away from me. He goes, "What do you want?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I mean, she must be in a bad mood.
No,
I was
I'm
like, "No." I was like, "Oh no, nothing. I was like, okay." And she continued to act like that for the rest of the trip, and it got really bad once we went to the Renaissance Fair. It was horrendous there.
So I want to tell that part of the story, right? Because this part just makes less than 0 sense. So the whole point of us coming up here was for Cap to come up here and get a crumb of coochie, as well as we were going to go to the Renaissance Fair, because I've never been to one. I don't think Lane's ever been to one either. And we're like, so she was telling us, like, the one here in Pennsylvania is pretty big, it's pretty popular, blah, blah, blah. The Renaissance Fair, amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was such a wonderful experience being at the Renaissance Fair. But as the evening went on, this individual it seemed to become more and more irritated. They were like, oh, we've got to go see all this different stuff. And we're like, we're taking our time because we've never been to one, while this person has been to it several times, right? So we're like, we're trying, obviously we want to see everything, but like, we're taking it slow because we've never been to one. We've never ever been to one. So we watched a couple of different acts. We watched a mud pit rendition of Macbeth. Yes.
That was pretty good.
hilarious. We watched. I don't remember their names, but I've got pictures of us with them. Where they did Miguel and I can't remember the other guy's name, and I hate that I don't remember his name. Either way, they essentially were. It wasn't necessarily stand up comedy. It might as well have been, but they had props and stuff like that. It was very funny. Very, very funny. I'm not going to say what the ending is because obviously this act needs to just be seen. But they were really funny. We watched a couple of musicians play, which was really, really cool. The food, absolutely astounding, as well as the drinks. Had mead for the first time.
Warm apple cider.
That warm apple cider was bussin'.
Which one was the vinegar-based one?
I don't remember.
It was like a hot something.
Oh, that was the warm apple cider.
No, the hot malt.
Oh, the hot malt, yeah.
Hot garbage.
Either way, we're having a great time. Fantastic time. But it comes to the end, and like we're looking at all these like weapon shops where they're selling weapons, or they're selling replicas of weapons, which one shop in particular had replica weapons from World of Warcraft. They had Ashbringer, Frostmourne, and the Blades of Azeroth. And I was like, oh, I can't buy these right now, but I want to get pictures with them. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, sure. So we're taking our time exchanging the weapons and getting pictures with them. And the person we're with is like, the ending event is about to start, and it's a joust. And they're like, we've got to get to it and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, well, I kind of want to take pictures because we've been taking pictures all day. They get fed up and leave us, right? They leave us and go to this event. Me and Lane are lagging behind a little bit. And we finally catch up. We can't find them in this crowd, but we're watching the joust happen. We're watching the event happen.
Yeah, me and Zach are eating food.
We're eating food and fries and stuff like that.
Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, the joust the least interesting of it.
It didn't seem all that great. Either way, the joust ends. Everybody's starting to leave, and we're like trying to look for them and can't find them. And so we're trying to call them up. Can't call them up. The service is not the greatest out there. So we just start walking around looking for them. Well, me and Lane, on our way out, kind of start stopping by a couple of shops. They're like, yeah, we're still open, but only for a little while. If you want to come in and look, I got a couple business cards for people who ship out of state. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So we finally meet up with them, and this person is just... I'm so baffled by it because they are utterly pissed off at me and Lane.
Who is?
The trifling individual, whose name I will not say. But they were just utterly pissed off.
Cap wasn't mad?
No.
Okay.
Cap wasn't mad at us, but because he understood the reason, like, we wanted pictures and we were taking our time. Because I don't know, Cap, have you ever been to a Ren Fair before?
I have.
So he kind of understood. He was just like, they're trying to see what there is to see and this, that, and the other. But this other person, being his girlfriend at the time, just was utterly pissed off at us for no apparent reason whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And she just started yelling at us for just being like, you guys didn't do what I say, and you fucking blah, blah, blah. Just essentially berating us.
She had some kind of leader mentality, like y'all were there for her, so y'all needed to stay around with her or some shit?
Maybe. Because we'll get into that a little later, because I want Lane to tell that part of the story. But she just starts yelling at us for no reason, and I get pissed off at her, and I put her in her fucking place. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're not going to fucking talk to me like that, because this is the first time I've been to a Ren Fair that you've been to several times, and then get mad because you didn't get to see everything when you've been here several times. I'm like, you're not going to talk to me like that, like I'm below you or beneath you.
Yeah.
And then she shut up.
Wait, which part of the story did you want me to tell?
I'll get to that. So we all pack up. Because they rode in a separate car from us. So they pack up and they go. We pack up and we go. We get back to, because we're staying at her house at this point. This was after we stayed at the Airbnb, and this was the last half of the week we were staying at her house. She just doesn't talk to me anymore, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. But then things start to evolve. So Lane, if you would like to take it away from here.
So we get back, and I don't remember if it was that night or a previous night or whatever, but we were playing D&D, right?
Mhm.
At her house.
In my horror game.
Yeah. And she just so happens to be sitting next to me. So, you know, I've been nothing but friendly to her this whole time because previously, right, when I talked to her on Discord, I just did not like her. She's a contrarian. I just don't like her.
Yeah.
I especially don't like her because of the way that I saw that she treated her cat when we were there. That bothered me.
Yeah,
I was absolutely traumatized by her.
Yeah, she always whines that her cat attacks her. And I don't understand why my cat doesn't like me. And then, like, over the phone, it's like, yeah, I don't understand her either. And once I saw it in person, I was like, oh.
That's why.
Cat hates me.
She fucking molesting your cat? Like, what? What?
Yeah. So
I'll give you a quick example. One night, I decided to stay in her room. This was near the end. She wouldn't let me onto her bed, so I had to sleep on the floor. But she went looking for her cat. I saw her cat hiding in the corner after she had picked up her cat from somewhere else and put it in her room, and the cat went and hid under the table. And I was like, okay, you know, the cat's probably a little scared of me, because I'm new, and I haven't like been interacting with it too much because it's been hiding. And she went on a crusade looking for it everywhere she could. And eventually I was like, all right, yeah, cat's under the table. And she takes it and she yanks it out from under the table and forcibly cuddles with it as it's scratching and like whining and trying to get out of her grasp. The cat's clearly does not like her, and she doesn't understand that. So she will just manhandle it. And the most infuriating part of that is, we were once watching a video of this dude who was, he was a veterinarian, and he wrapped the cat up in a towel, sort of like squish massaging it, and she was like, that man shouldn't be allowed to deal with cats. I said, what do you mean? She was like, you're not supposed to do that with cats at all. That could seriously hurt them.
It does not.
No.
What?
No.
It does not.
This man is a veterinarian. He knows what he's doing. She's like, no, he clearly doesn't.
You're literally because I've done it before. Sometimes you have to swaddle a cat like that in order to give them medicine or in order to treat them for something. I've done it several times with our cats, and they don't like it. But in order to keep them from clawing your fucking eyes out, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah, cats are the breed where they'll show you affection via you ignoring them. The further you stay away from them, they'll come to you whenever they won't care. That's how cats are.
Little Cap only wants attention from me while I'm pooping. Like, she will literally come in there and she will just want the utmost attention and love while I'm just on the toilet. Anyways, continue, Lane.
One third of your life pooping.
Yeah. So things started to get a bit strange, right? She became increasingly friendly towards me, right?
Okay.
And I thought nothing of it. I was like, oh, you know, maybe we're friends now. You know, maybe that's just the way it is. I thought nothing of it. I was just being I was just being myself. Wasn't trying to, you know, pick up a girl that I had no interest in from my feller Cap. You know, it wasn't how it was.
Mm-hmm.
So things just got weird. You know, she was distant from Cap, but closer to me. It was just strange. And so if we were to, you know, take a little jump cut here to after the trip, apparently she told somebody,
me.
And that person, told you?
Yeah, she told me directly.
Yeah, told Zach here that she had feelings for me
Huh.
while we were on the trip.
You mean all couple of days?
Pretty much as soon as she probably got to know me.
Jesus.
Now it gets it gets even better than that, because now that we know that context, she confided in me. She was like, "Hey, I need you to keep this a secret. I know I can trust you with the secret." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay, like you yelled at me, and then I put you in your place. Like, why would you confide in me?" But I was like, "Okay, I'll go with it." And she was like, "I kind of caught feelings for Lane while he was down here, and I've kind of been growing distant from Cap because it just wasn't what I thought it was." And I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do here? Am I going to be a bro and I'm going to inform my bros about this travesty? Or am I just going to be a whore and not tell anybody? Obviously, I was a bro, and I first told Lane, I was like, Lane, I need you to know this beforehand because me and you and Cap are gonna talk about this. I was like, she has caught feelings for you, which explains why she was being closer to you and distant from Cap and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so then me, Lane, and Cap get into a call and we talk about it. Cap is not upset at Lane in the least because Lane wasn't doing anything about it. Like, he wasn't trying to steal her away. She just was being more interested in him than Cap. And so we're all broing it out and we're like, okay, this isn't our fault. This is on her. And
please slow down.
Cap confronts her about it, and she lies, bold-faced lies, and tells Cap that is not true, and essentially, like I said, just bold-faced lies about the entire thing. And
Ugh.
Cap, if you want to finish off the story with what she was telling you.
So the first thing he did was I tried to be subtle about it. I was like, hey, that trip didn't go as well as I was hoping, and I noticed that you were pretty distant from me, and you were talking to Lane a lot. Anything special about that you wanted to tell me? And she was like, no, nothing. Oh, good lord, I just dropped my phone in his face. And I was like, okay. Are you sure? You didn't, because it was pretty bad. And she was like, no, if there was something, I would have told you. And I was like, okay. Then I waited a few days, and then I came back, and I was like, somebody mentioned this to me. And she was like, that would never happen. I would never do that. And I said, okay. Just waited a few more days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, listen, I know about this. And she was like, I don't know where you heard that, but it's wrong. I was like, all right, well, I'm done then. You won't talk to me about this.
And despite all of that, it was even in spite of all that, after he mentioned that to her, she just didn't talk to Cap at all.
Ever. I have not once said hi to her since that day. She's still on my server, and every time we do a server purge, I think about it.
But it's
yeah.
It definitely we us as the three amigos had a fantastic time. But
we had the best sushi of our life.
In Virginia, yes. Oh, in
Washington.
Oh no, we had just come. Wait, I thought we had just come out of Washington and we hit Virginia.
We had just hit Virginia, but then we drove back to Washington for the sushi.
That's right. Okay, so it was on the very edge.
Yeah.
It was so good. Those spider rolls, dude. Oh. But yeah,
Bro, the
so
crab rolls were bad.
the crab rolls, that's what I was thinking of. But I'm glad we actually drove. We were thinking about all just flying there. I was like, I really don't want to get on a plane. Can we please just drive? And
It's so much better.
although it was very crowded and it was uncomfortable, it was so worth it. Driving was so worth it.
Every time. So remember, I used to have to go to San Antonio every summer.
Mm-hmm.
I preferred whenever we drove as opposed to flown because you see more, you do more, you're out and you see the world. You see half the damn the country driving that far.
Speaking of, are we saving the floor loaf story for later because the floor loaf is involved in the drive?
We are saving the floor loaf.
Okay,
We're
so
saving the floor loaf for a special day.
Absolutely. So, but we will save that for later then. But
I do want to mention one last thing about the trip on my end. This trip made me quote unquote allergic to monsters. Every time I drink a monster now, I get a massive nosebleed.
Oh Lord.
That's not good.
It's probably something very bad, but.
So, do you know the functionality of caffeine and your body?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, do you know how it affects your blood vessels?
No.
So, what caffeine does is it restricts the blood flow in your blood vessels. In other words, your blood vessels actually tighten up. That's how come whenever you get a caffeine withdrawal, you get insane headaches because your blood vessels are opening back up and a sudden rush of blood to your brain causes you to have headaches and inflammation. So it could be, it could be something similar to that and the constriction of your blood vessels causing the nosebleed.
I do want to say, outside of the topic of caffeine and back on the trip, I think, and we hadn't really said it much, but I think between me, because me and Lane are already pretty close, but between Cap coming up and us just driving, we figured out how, like, close we actually are with each other.
Hey,
Like-
man, 3 ways to do that.
I will. Oh yeah, obviously. But like, if we would have flown, it would have just been like a bunch of friends meeting up. But driving the whole way and just sharing music and stories and just hanging out with each other in just close proximity really showed how close we are. And what brought us together was D&D.
People of like mind, man.
And then they showed up at my house.
And then, yeah, and that was the thing. We, like, on the way back, we were like, hey, Caleb's house is kind of on the way. Let's text him and see if we can stop by. And we showed up early that morning, and we meet Caleb in person, and we all go and we get fucking Chick-fil-A and eat in the parking lot of just some rando strip mall. And we're just sitting there, and it's just, it's really amazing to say that, like, this road trip really, like, showed, like, how close we are as friends.
I think another thing is that like, it shows how close we are as friends, but it also shows that it's kind of like the same thing as where, like, if you're in a relationship, right? You don't really know how well you work together until you live together. I feel like this is a lesser part of that. Like, we were together in close proximity for so long and dealt with each other so well that we could probably live together and be in perfect harmony, pretty much.
I would love for us to live together. In all honesty.
We need to be
goes.
roommates.
Dude, when I hit the lottery and when I, like, because this is something serious I want to do. Whenever because I'm, obviously in my field, there's a lot of potential money to be made. When I can get to that point where I'm, like, travel sleep tech and full on just making the big bucks, I really want to get us, like, a big gaming house that we can all just live in.
Boys.
A D&D gamer house would be amazing.
I would absolutely move into that.
Where'd you put it at?
I would probably try and centralize it between all of us.
That'd be kind of cool. We could all, like, stop by whenever we're in the area.
Either, like, well, because Drake, I know you've got your own house, and obviously,
Well, then we gotta worry about squatters.
and like you've got a fucking wife and everything, so you've got a life. But I would definitely make it to where, like, anybody can come over and stay for however long they want to do. We've got games, we can play D&D, we can play on our computers, all of this stuff. And I wouldn't mind, like, between all of us, like, living together. And I would love for, like, Adam to come over and.
Let me tell you, it'd be a badass idea if, like, we each had our own room, and then we had a room, so that way we could have, like, Adam or somebody else. But that way, like, we could also keep our own shit there.
Yeah.
And we know it'd be safe. Whenever we come down, we can go get it. Or
Go get it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm down with that, man. But hey, guys, we've been rolling now for a hot minute.
About 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be it, Caleb. Thanks for just stopping in for a little bit, man. Hopefully next time, if you jump in a little early, we can hit you with some hot questions. Cat, man, also the same dude. Welcome back.
Yeah, maybe next time I'll wake up in time.
It's all good, dude. Well, it's been fun, guys, and I guess that's gonna be it.
Alrighty.
So, wow.
See you guys later.
Sayonara.